We all have games that we loved and enjoyed when we were younger, and we played a lot many years ago, and we wish that we can go back and experience it again. And when it comes to single player games, it's pretty easy to just go ahead and do that. I mean, it's hard when the game is delisted from digital storefronts or was only released on an older console and was never brought to modern platforms, but with emulation and other things, it actually isn't that difficult for the most part to play a single player game again. But multiplayer games are very different in that they have a very limited shelf life in comparison. For a single player game that's 10, 15, 20 years old, you don't have to worry about Steam charts or whether or not other people are playing it because it is a single player experience and it doesn't rely on other people being there for you to be able to play the game properly. In the case of multiplayer-only games or multiplayer modes that also have single player, going back is not always an option. The game can be delisted from storefronts, and you can't just emulate an online game, especially one that's come out on PS4 and PS5. You can't emulate those consoles yet. And even if it was on PC, it's not a guarantee that the game is going to be brought back by the community and have fan servers, because reverse engineering games that were built to be online only is not a very easy undertaking, especially when it's only done by people that are passionate and aren't getting paid to do it. They're spending a lot of their free time, because there are games like Battlefield Bad Company 2 that actually, through the Project Rome client, got its servers fully restored, even after EA shut the servers down. But then you have Battlefield 1943, which has been shut down for a few years now, was available on consoles only and didn't get a PC version. That game is still unplayable to this day. So a lot of the times when a game's servers are officially shut down by the publisher, the game will never come back and will remain unplayable forever. There are other games like Gotham City Imposters where the servers are still online thanks to peer-to-peer matchmaking, so it doesn't cost the company any money to keep them running, but at the same time, the game is delisted, so if you're someone that wants to play the game again, but you didn't already own it on Steam, it's next to impossible to do so in 2026. But then there are other times where a game is not shut down, it's not delisted, but it simply just doesn't have a player base anymore, so when you try to play the game online, you won't find any lobbies because the game has like 3 concurrent players. So as you guys know, I have a channel that's dedicated to playing online games in 2026, older titles, seeing how they play, seeing if it's still actually viable to play these games, if there's enough of a player base, and if the servers were shut down, etc., etc. But, you know, there's a pet peeve of mine when I look at the comments on those videos, and it's people telling me how much they miss these games and they want to play the games again. Well, in a lot of cases, you can. And the game is actually still just as good now as it was 10, 15 plus years ago, especially with the older Call of Duty games. Black Ops 1 is a game that still runs well, the servers are great, there's really not that many cheaters online, and it's still so much fun to play. But whenever I make videos playing that game, it's so many people talking about how much they miss the game. Yeah, I know it may not be easy and convenient to play a game like that, where there is a PC version, but no one plays the game on PC, so you really need the console version, specifically the Xbox 360 version, because PS3 version has a lot of problems and has a lot less people online. So you need the Xbox version, really. Okay, so you can either get a 360 or an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X to play through backwards compatibility. But a lot of people just don't want to go through the hassle. They want to just have it conveniently available for them on their PS5 or whatever they play on. There's other issues too, where there are games that are still online and do still have servers and people playing, but the experience is just not fun because a lot of these servers, and a lot of the time it's the only server that is still active and has a player base, it's the same map 24/7. And I get bored pretty quickly when it's a game that has like 20 maps and there's only one map that you can actually still play. That can be very frustrating, and cheating is also another big problem with older titles. Even not so much older titles, games that came out recently have big cheating problems. Marathon is a game that's going through a lot right now. One of those things is actually a huge rampant cheating problem that is plaguing the game. Or maybe there is a player base that is still active, but it's such a small player base that when you go and play against them, it's not very fun because these are longtime veterans that understand fully all the mechanics and the way to properly play the game. You can't really learn when you're just getting destroyed every single match and you end up giving up pretty quickly and moving on to something else. The arena shooters of old are a great example of that. I understand with a lot of games, it's not viable financially for a company to just keep the servers running perpetually and never shut the game down, but I think a good middle ground compromise would be to have dedicated servers that last as long as the developer and publisher continues to support the game, but when they decide they no longer can, to have peer-to-peer matchmaking be implemented to replace it. Now, with peer-to-peer matchmaking comes with greater security risks. Like all the older Call of Duty games on PC, if you're not running a custom client, that's why it's so easy for these hackers to infect your computer. So there are security risks involved, and the stability of the connection is obviously not as good either, but I feel like it's a lot better than just having the game fully shut down and unplayable, and also allow people to rent servers and to buy servers to, keep dedicated servers running, but they're the ones paying for it. The community is paying for it, not the publisher. So it costs them no money to just let people continue to play. And with the stop killing games thing gaining a lot of traction lately, maybe that can become a reality in the future. And it'd be even better if that can retroactively be applied to older games. I know that's definitely wishful thinking and probably won't be quite like that, but oh man, a man can dream, because there's so many games that I miss that I literally cannot play anymore, and it makes me really sad, because multiplayer games are not meant to last forever, but it still hurts when they're taken offline and are no longer playable, especially beloved games that you have a lot of fond memories of. Let me know in the comments, are there any games that you miss and you wish you could play again, but you can't because the servers are taken offline? And what do you think should be done to preserve these games and to keep them playable?